Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Fougere, and I am the chair of East Coast Credit Union's Board of Directors. I would like to officially call this meeting of our members to order. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are respectfully gathered in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We also acknowledge the histories, contributions, and legacies of the African Nova Scotia people and communities who have been here for over 400 years. I would like to welcome everyone to the 2023 East Coast Credit Union Annual General Meeting. This year, we are excited to provide members from across our 18 branch locations the ability to watch from the comfort of their own homes using the online video live stream option. Members tuning in via live stream will also be able to ask questions or make comments by accessing the chat function in the live stream platform, which is located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and appears as a chat bubble. Once you click the chat icon, you can choose Guest at the bottom of the screen. Enter your name and click Join. We will answer questions from both our members in attendance and our members online during various points of our meeting. However, only those physically present in the room will be asked to make a motion and/or vote. Tonight's meeting will reference our annual report, audited financial statements, which are linked in the annual report, and the minutes from last year's AGM, which can all be found on our website at www.eastcoastcu.ca. When asking questions this evening, please come to a microphone and speak loud and clear. Please state your full name and show your blue voter card, identifying yourself as a member. We would ask that all questions be raised using a microphone so that all members in attendance here tonight and viewing on our live stream can hear and understand the questions. I would like to note that the meeting this evening will follow Robert's Rules of Order. We are very pleased to have this opportunity to share with you our achievements in the past year. I would like to thank our members, staff, board members, and committees for making 2022 another successful year for East Coast Credit Union. I would like to take a moment to welcome our special guests this evening, including our system partners. Thank you for attending our annual meeting. We appreciate your support. I would now like to introduce our head table. Myself, Dan Fougere, Chair of your Board of Directors. Ken Shea, our President and CEO. Leon Tovey, our Parliamentarian and Scrutineer. And Caroline Dickey, our Recording Secretary for the evening. I would also like to introduce the rest of your Board of Directors. Kathy McDonnell Rankin, Vice Chair. I think you should stand, Kathy. Ann Sears, Secretary and Chair of the Nominations Committee. Mary Oxner, Chair of the Audit Committee. Melanie Sampson, Chair of the Credit Committee. John Burke, Director. Terrell Giffen, Director. Christine Hanlon, Chair of the Communications Committee. Helen McPherson, Chair of the Governance Committee. Julie Marshaw, Director. Maurice Smith, Director. Bill Timmons, Chair of Community Impact Committee. The senior executive team, led by CEO Ken Shea, are Leila Cahill, Vice President, Human Resources. Stand for a moment, Leila. Xavier Lozano, Vice President, IT. He's absent tonight. He's a new addition to our management team. Kathy McReynolds, Vice President, also a new addition. I believe she's absent tonight as well. She's Vice President, Support Services. Sally Vanderweel, Vice President, Vice President, Operations. And Frank Vihant, Vice President, Finance and Corporate Services. Thank you. So our youth play an important role in the future success of East Coast Credit Union and our communities. East Coast provides personalized financial solutions to help our youth achieve their goals, along with our annual bursary program. This year, East Coast Credit Union offered 11 $1,000 bursaries, plus an additional $1,000 bursary for the children or grandchildren of staff and board. The successful applicants are selected anonymously and chosen based on their community and school involvement. I would now like to call upon Ken Shea to announce our 2023 annual bursary recipients.
Little tight up here. Okay, our youth are definitely our future, as Dan mentioned. And once again this year, we had a very tough job, but they showed us that we have a promising future. And our applicants did a great job of demonstrating that. We had quite a number of them. They've proven that they're not only the leaders of tomorrow, but the leaders of today. The Bursary Selection Committee, as I mentioned, had a very difficult task, trying to identify the top candidates, plus the single internal candidate for a family bursary. We hope that our bursary winners continue to think of East Coast Credit Union as their financial institution of choice, and we invite you to talk to us after the meeting about how we can partner in achieving your financial success. I'll ask now, as I call the names for each recipient, to come forward and receive their award. And I think they're going to tell me to make sure you stick around for pictures, because we'll try to do those outside this room once the staff members are able to coordinate you all. We have quite a few that are here and some that didn't make it, so I'll go through the list regardless of whether they're here or not, but we'll present the ones that are here. Not present tonight, Isabel White, who plans to attend Cape Breton University to complete a Bachelor of Science. Katie McNeil, who plans to attend Dalhousie University to do a Bachelor of Science in Medical Science. Kaylin Landry, who plans to attend Cape Breton University to complete a degree in nursing. Julia McDonald, who plans to attend St. FX University to complete a degree in engineering. And I believe Madison Furlow is here, or Furlot, I'm not sure, am I pronouncing did I do it right the first time or the second time? What? Furlot, yeah. And she's planning to attend St. Francis Xavier to get a Bachelor of Arts in Celtic Studies, so congratulations. Cameron Bell, who couldn't be with us this evening, is also planning to attend St. FX University to complete a Bachelor of Science in Human Kinetics. Ahmed Haddad, who plans to attend St. FX to complete a degree in engineering. And I believe Jenna Heyer is here as well, and she plans to attend St. Mary's University or the University of Toronto to complete a degree in anthropology. So, Jenna. And the next one is Belle Moore, who plans to attend St. Mary's University to complete a Bachelor of Science degree as well. Cassandra Vale, who plans to complete a degree in kinesiology and biology at one of 3 universities, and I think she's been accepted to all of them. She's just trying to make her decisions. So. And now, the last one, except for the family one, is Maddie Allison, who plans to attend Mount St. Vincent University to complete a degree in biology and psychology. And now I'm delighted to announce the recipient of this year's family bursary, who is a son of one of our employees who works in our business services department. The successful recipient is Carter McDonald, who plans to attend St. Mary's University to complete a degree in criminology. Carter? So maybe we'll give them all another round of applause. And as I said, we wish you much luck with your studies and much success in the future. Dan, I'll turn it back over to you. Okay, I'm being reminded that we want the winners of the bursaries to kind of make their way to the door so we can get a picture, if that's okay. Thank you.
So now I would like to reintroduce Leon Tovey. Leon serves as legal counsel for Atlantic Central and League Savings and Mortgage Company and will act as parliamentarian and scrutineer for our meeting this evening. Welcome, Leon, and thank you for agreeing to perform these duties for us this evening. Our bylaws require 17 members in attendance to constitute a quorum for tonight's meeting. Our board secretary, Ann Sears, has confirmed that we have 57 members attending the annual general meeting in person this evening. In honor of members who have passed away in 2022 and others in our communities who have faced challenges and adversity, and to honor the victims and survivors of the 2020 Nova Scotia mass shooting, please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call for an approval of tonight's agenda, a copy of which was also included in your meeting package. Note, members should give their names when moving and seconding. Can I get a motion from the floor for approval of the April 18, 2023 East Coast Credit Union Annual General Meeting agenda?
I so move.
Okay, let's make sure we get for the minutes. It was Mary Oxner who gave the motion and this seconder.
Ron Dorkway. Norquay. Sorry.
Okay. Caroline, did you get that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The agenda for tonight's meeting has been approved. For the process of approving and passing the 2022 AGM minutes, only members in attendance for the respective meeting whose minutes are being adopted can move and second a motion to approve those minutes. I would like to call for approval of the 2022 East Coast Credit Union Annual General Meeting minutes. A copy was available on our website, and there are also a few copies available in print this evening for reference if required.
I so move. Ann Sears.
Moved by Ann Sears. Could we have a seconder?
I'll second Bill Timmons.
Seconded by Bill Timmons. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any amendments proposed to the minutes as circulated? Is there any business arising from these minutes? Hearing none, I see I went off script, Caroline, but we already have the motion. So that motion was carried. The minutes from the 2022 East Coast Credit Union Annual General Meeting have been approved. Now for my chair's report. Against a backdrop of prolonged economic uncertainty, East Coast Credit Union has once again navigated challenging and uncharted waters to deliver a 9% natural growth in assets, accompanied by a 92% increase. It's actually 62%. 62% increase in pre-tax earnings, which is not a small number. This growth was achieved by implementing key strategies that focus on providing the best personalized banking experience for our members. Rapidly evolving digital platforms are changing the way we serve our members, but the same values that inspired the founding of the credit union movement in Nova Scotia over 90 years ago continue to guide East Coast Credit Union today. We are committed to evolving our current product and service offerings and investing in technologies that enhance member experience in person, online, and through our Member Advice Center. As our industry becomes more and more digital, being vigilant to cybersecurity requirements also remain a top priority. The security of our members' money and data is critical. Implementing extra measures that provide added protection will continue to require our focus, as well as our members' adaptability and understanding into the future. The financial landscape is changing, and we need to be adaptable by continuing to explore partnerships that help us grow and strengthen into the future. Mergers with other credit unions is a key strategy we continue to prioritize, as it enables us to expand our delivery of financial services while growing our membership and community impact throughout the province. Our strong financial position will enable East Coast Credit Union to explore partnering opportunities with like-minded credit unions as we go forward. The impact we have on our communities remains at the core of everything we do and is an integral and growing part of our strategic plan. Recognizing the impact of what has been happening in our communities and the world, we have been working to grow as an organization by advancing diversity, equality, and inclusion efforts. In 2022, we began to work closely with Canadian Equality Consulting to conduct a DEI assessment and build a strategy as we move forward. The past year was an exceptional year of recognition. We received several highly regarded awards exemplifying our commitment to our communities. We were recipients of the Cody Award for our demonstration of leadership in cooperation, volunteerism, education, and environmental sustainability in our communities. We were also honored to be the recipient of the Canadian Credit Union Association's first ever National Environment, Social, and Governance Award. We received this honor for our contributions that helped the community of St. Andrews, Nova Scotia, meet its strategic goal of reducing its carbon footprint. This project is an example of our commitment to supporting practices and initiatives that promote a greener and more sustainable future in the communities where we live and work. We are very pleased with these recognitions as we seek to consistently demonstrate that we are the best way to bank in Atlantic Canada. In 2022, we embraced the challenges that came our way and remain focused on creating a culture of continuous growth and improvement that will guide our way in 2023 and beyond. We thank our members for their loyalty and support, our employees for their resourcefulness in meeting the evolving needs of our members, and on a personal note, I thank fellow board members for their strategic vision and attention to good governance practices. I would now like to share with you a video highlighting our Cody Award win this past year.
East Coast Credit Union is an important contributor to initiatives that strengthen resilience and promote a sustainable future in the communities where we live and work. Volunteering, local giving, and our commitment to community impact initiatives are deeply rooted in our values. We make every effort to get involved in projects that help strengthen our communities. East Coast Credit Union takes pride in being part of something bigger.
I would like to now invite our CEO, Ken Shea, to come up to deliver his CEO's report.
Thank you, Dan. At East Coast Credit Union, service excellence, social responsibility, accountability, and preparing for the future are at the core of everything we do. We consistently plan and evolve for the future so we can continue to grow and deliver everything members need today and what they expect to have in the future. 2022 was another year of progression as well as achieving our strategic commitments, and there's much to celebrate. Our membership grew to just over 42,807. Our assets reached $1.17 billion. Our equity stood at 7.6%. Our loan portfolio increased $177 million, or 21%, during the year through growth in our mortgage subsidiary, as well as unprecedented growth in our commercial line of business. As Dan mentioned, we continue to evolve our plans to grow, and East Coast also considered opportunities to partner with other credit unions and organizations that can create benefits for all of our members. We'll share a few more details at the later part of the meeting on this, but we have announced an exciting new partnership with LaHave Credit Union. Throughout the past year, we made significant improvements in how we serve you, our members, all to help making banking with us easier. We launched a new website in the spring, which brings better service to members in a digital way. It allows you to fulfill many of your banking needs without ever having to come to the branch, but from the comfort of your own home, including things like the ability to review, approve, and sign documents for many of our products that would previously have required a face-to-face appointment. It's not that we don't want to see you, but it is the way of the future. So trying to make sure you have that accessibility is very important. In the fall, we were excited to celebrate the opening of our transformed St. Peter's branch in Cape Breton. Members now have a beautiful, friendly location which will have meaningful impacts on this region for years to come. We were also very pleased to offer our member share offering, preferred share offering, which gave members an opportunity to invest in the future of our credit union. From March to September 2022, members invested a total of $17 million in Class A East Coast Credit Union shares. These shares will provide the equity that will allow us to continue to build the business for you. We're also pleased to offer our new debit MasterCard product, which allows us to use your debit card but allows you to make online purchases. This product also has a lot of similar benefits and features to our formal global payment card, which many members have missed for the last few years. Credit unions are leaders in small business lending across Canada, but we provide more than financial support. We provide coaching, we participate in mentorship, and help businesses far beyond what is normally expected from their financial institution. For East Coast, we offer welcome programs for new immigrants and new immigrant entrepreneurs, technical support to social enterprise, and enjoy sharing the wealth of our business knowledge with you, our members. The banking landscape is changing, and it's transforming digitally in front of us every day. We're working very hard to carefully position East Coast so that our members can have success long into the future. Recent data shows that our members are banking digitally in all segments of the population. I just share a couple of statistics just to kind of give you an idea. More than 90% of all members have used digital banking or digital payment transactions at least once in the last year. A record level of e-transfers totaling $427 million was sent and received in the past 12 months from our credit union. And that's up over 20% from 21 to 22. Using the debit card to pay for transactions now accounts for nearly 50% of all withdrawals. So checks are slowly disappearing, they're still around, but they're getting less and less used. An online account opening accounted for almost 1,700 new accounts being opened with our credit union in 2022. East Coast online calendar booking led to the creation of more than 9,700 appointments over a 6-month period since its start in 2022. So that's 9,700 people that didn't have to call, wait to talk to somebody, but could just actually make an appointment and be ready to go. I believe these transactions demonstrate members' demand for fast, easy, and safe methods to pay for things, transfer money to friends and family, and convenient ways to connect with East Coast for their account and banking services. While digital banking needs are rising, so too, as Dan mentioned, are new threats to East Coast, and this means ensuring our digital solutions are timely, relevant, and secure. Our top priority is to provide you with safe and secure banking, one that keeps your personal information safe and secure from fraudulent activity, and that's why we continue to offer layers of protection to your online banking. Some examples of those, although sometimes frustrating for members, are our 2SP, which is two-step verification, which we recently enacted for all accounts to try to help avoid fraud, as well as something that's in the launch right in the near future called Strong Pack. These things will help to make it harder for fraudsters to gain access to accounts and banking information, and they're critical steps to ensuring that your information remains safe. Our staff are ready to support you in adopting these new technologies and making sure that you understand the changes. And to do so, however, it is very important that we make sure that your personal and contact information is accurate and up to date. Keeping this information up to date not only secures your account and protects you from fraudulent activities, but ensures we can keep in touch with you and make sure you're informed of any changes or anything that's relevant for your account, and gives you access to new products and services that you may require. Our strength is our members and the trust that you place in us and did in 2022. Canadian credit unions were once again awarded the top Financial Services Customer Service Excellence Award by the Ipsos Reid Financial Services Excellence Award. Canada's credit unions received the top ranking for the 18th year in a row. And while we work to grow as your banking institution, we remain true to our credit union roots and the commitment to service excellence. Organizations of all sizes are focused on developing and promoting talent, building a strong and engaged work culture, and at East Coast, this is absolutely a priority for us as well. I am pleased to report on the successes we've achieved during the last year. East Coast Credit Union was named one of the top employers in Atlantic Canada as well as one of the top employers in Nova Scotia for the 4th year in a row. Our Human Resources team, we're also the recipient of the Nova Scotia Provincial HR Team of the Year Award. With the support of our HR leadership, as Dan mentioned, we've committed to a diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy. Our outcomes from the strategy will enable us, our East Coast team members, to know and feel that they belong, they are valued, and their thoughts, ideas, and talents are not only welcomed, but are needed to make a difference now and into the future. In 2022, we celebrated the 2nd year of the East Coast CU Cares grant program. Our credit union made $100,000 available in grants to help cooperative social enterprises in Nova Scotia. In total, we contributed $400,000 in community impact funds in the areas of environment, community well-being, economic development, education, and governance. Coupled with those financial contributions, there are countless hours of volunteerism by staff, board, and committee members, and we'd like to acknowledge those as well. The relationships we build in our communities from this volunteerism is the essence of what we do every day. We are more than a bank. We feel great satisfaction in our work when we see jobs created, homes purchased, businesses succeeding, and our focus is on the members and our communities and their success. We look forward to seeing the benefits of our contributions to these important organizations and are excited to share their stories throughout 2023. Another thing that we did alongside other credit unions in Atlantic Canada is we partnered on the program called Loyal to Local Challenge. It added over $100,000 to local economies by allowing us to lever up dollars that we gave employees with dollars that Central gave us to give the employees. So making sure we were making some local purchases, which is a great program. This initiative, along with our East Coast CU Cares, Random Acts of Kindness, helped many community members and organizations along the way. We were very pleased to support the many important community causes, such as the Downtown Dartmouth Ice Festival, Nova Scotia Summerfest, Canoe 2022, the Granville Green Summer Concert Series, as well as organizations such as the Canadian Ukraine Foundation, the Marguerite Area Development Association, L'Arche Cape Breton, the Red Cross Hurricane Fiona Fund, and that's just to mention a few, along with many local charities, activities, and organizations that your staff and branches have supported throughout the year. In closing, I would like to thank the board for their continued support, strategic advice, and leadership. Thank you to the team at East Coast Credit Union for their dedication and support to our members, our communities, and to each other. The hard work, dedication, and excellent contributions they consistently provide is critical to our success. On behalf of management and staff, I'd also like to thank all of our members for their loyalty and support. We'd also like to extend a warm welcome to the newest East Coast Credit Union members who've joined us in 2022. We know you are entrusting us with some of your most important challenges of your lives, and we want you to know how much we appreciate your business. By joining our credit union and investing locally, you're giving back to your local community. The loyalty and dedication of our members is a driving force and critical to our success, our growth, and it keeps us focused on our mission, vision, as we continue to build a strong, adaptable, and prosperous future. I'd now like to share a video highlighting a little bit about our credit union story.
What is community? Is it simply geography, or is it something greater? At East Coast Credit Union, we think a community is born when we gather together to share a burden and lend a hand, when we find common bonds. And like communities, credit unions share and grow and evolve. We have big dreams for what the members of East Coast Credit Union can accomplish together, and we believe that our members and the communities they are a part of are where we will find our greatest success. We want our roots to be strong and our canopy to be broad, to be resilient and capable of providing shelter and support to the widest range of members. It's important to us that they never feel that there's anything only a bank can do for them. If our members need help, we should be able to provide it. That's why we seek out growth and opportunity so we can be of better service to our members and communities. No matter what they achieve or where they go, we want our members to feel like we're part of their lives. Because we are our members, we are our communities, and that can never be left behind.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Are there any questions on our chair's report or our CEO report? With no questions, I would now like to welcome Josephine Wizorek, Senior Manager from BDO, to deliver the auditor's report.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. The first slide that you'll see, there we go. Thank you. This is the same report that we would have issued in the prior year. There's been no changes to our reporting from the prior year. So another clean audit opinion. So nothing really that I want to go over here because it hasn't changed. Clean audit opinion, so everyone can be happy. I'll move over to go over some highlights, though, starting out with your balance sheet. So a couple things I wanted to point out. The first one, the significant growth in the loans balance. So 177 million, which is about 21%. There's two main reasons why this happened. The first one is due to the mortgage subsidiary launch in 2021. As well as the significant growth in commercial loan offerings. So both of those contributed quite heavily to that growth. The other one that I wanted to point out was the growth in equity. And as Ken mentioned earlier, your equity percentage is now at just close to 7.5%. And the reason for that is the 23% million increase in equity that came from two main changes. The one being $17 million in Class A preferred shares that were issued, and then of course the net income that was earned in 2022 of $9 million. I will go ahead and move to the next slide that goes over the financial highlights of your income statement. There is several items I'll go over here, starting with your financial revenue. So great increase there, obviously due to the increase in rates, but also the increased lending. This is somewhat offset by the higher rates on your deposits, but still an overall financial margin increase of 21%. So that is significant and something to be proud of. The other revenue line has increased due to the management fees from the mortgage subsidiary. Operating expenses have increased in line with the increase of revenue. There'll be an increase with growth and inflation, of course, and that went up by 14%. And finally, your net income. So overall net income has increased by 53%. So something to be very proud of. I will leave it as that. If anyone has any questions, if there's specific financial statement questions, I will defer those to management. But if you have any questions about the audit or anything like that. All right then. Thank you very much.
So can I take it there are no questions of the auditor or our CEO on the auditor's report? Hearing none, I would like to call for a motion from the floor for approval of the auditor's report as presented. Could we have a mover? Our audit committee chair, Mary Oxner, moves. Very appropriate. Could we have a seconder?
Don Smith.
All those in favor? Opposed? The auditor's report has been approved. I will now ask Mary Oxner, Chair of the Audit Committee, to make a motion to appoint our external audit firm for the coming fiscal year.
Thank you, Dan. As Audit Committee Chair, I move that East Coast Credit Union engage BDO as our external auditors for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2023. Would someone second the motion? To do so, please state your name. Okay, thank you. Did you say Ron?
Ron.
Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. So the motion to approve BDO for the external auditors for the next year has been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion's carried. BDO has been appointed as external auditor for the 2023 fiscal year. Thank you.
I would now ask Ann Sears, Chair of the Nominating Committee, to explain the election process and present your board nominees for 2023.
Thank you, Dan. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge the Executive Secretary, Caroline, who is the most efficient individual that you'd ever run across. And just that'd be good for a little raise, eh? Okay. Thank you. And just to show you how efficient dear Caroline is, I received this package from her, and I picked it up, and I thought, oh, Lord, she thinks I'm losing it. Right on the top of the paper. My name is Ann Sears. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right. Each year, the board appoints a nominations committee which makes its best efforts to identify and encourage nominations from eligible members who are representative of the diversity of the credit union and who possess the skills, knowledge, and expertise required to serve on the board of directors, which makes you all wonder at this point, how in the you know what did she ever get there? All my relatives, there's a lot of them in Antigonish. The committee reviewed the nominations, which further I can read, to ensure the nominees are eligible candidates for the board of directors. Eligibility requires nominees to be members of East Coast Credit Union in good standing and, I wasn't sure about this one, over 18 years of age. Nominees are nominated by a minimum of 2 members. I didn't know I had 2 friends. and are required to submit an overview of their interest and related experience. The committee also presides over the Board of Directors elections and ensures that the procedures as specified in the Credit Union Act are abided by and followed closely. This year, there were 4 3-year term positions up for election. The call for nominations was made on February the 3rd and concluded on March the 3rd, resulting in a competent slate of 7 candidates who were approved by the nominations committee. John Burke, Corinne Carey, Dan Fougere, I'm reserving comment on that one, Peter Goth, Melanie Sampson, Anthony Scogans, and Peter Wild. Online and electronic in-branch voting commenced on March 23rd and concluded on April the 13th. In an effort to increase member participation in the election, 2 contests were held. The first was a member contest where any member who voted could give their consent to enter their name into the draw for a chance to win one of 3 prizes: $500, $300, and $100. At the conclusion of the election, we received a list of member names who consented to be entered into the draw, and we will draw the prize winner now, Ann Sears of Antigonish. All 3 of them. Do I need my glasses? Emily Christina McNeil wins the $500. The second prize of $300 goes to Danelda Beaton. This isn't fair. All my work and I don't even get to win. All right. And the third prize winner is Ann Wood. Well, we can scratch that out and put Ann's ears.
Ann Wood, take the money.
Very good. There's hope for you, too. Congratulations to all of our winners. You will be contacted in the next few days to arrange for the funds to be awarded to you. The second contest was a staff contest where the branch with the highest percentage of their members voting in the election would win a pizza party for their staff. Now, seriously, personally, I wonder if there was a little under the table, if you know what I mean. Because guess who won?
Case of wine is in my trunk.
Really? Okay, good. The Harvard Bushy branch. Because Dan went in every day for the last 2 months and put a quarter in every day. And that was enough to pull them over the top. So we congratulate Harvard Bushy, and we thank everyone who helped make our contest a success. I would now ask Leon Tovey, parliamentarian and scrutineer, to announce the election results.
Good evening. As mentioned, my name is Leon Tovey, and I am legal counsel for Atlantic Central. This year, East Coast Credit Union used the e-voting services of Credit Union Executive Society, CUES, for the 2023 Board of Directors election, which ran from March 23rd to April 13th, with members able to vote online or electronically in branch. As tabulated, there were 1,086 total ballots cast. 8 of those ballots were invalidated for various reasons. 6 of them were commercial voters who had not submitted authorization to vote forms prior to voting, and 2 were in excess of the allowed number of votes for an account or member. The election results were confirmed by the CUES election manager, and I can announce that the elected directors are, in alphabetical order by last name, John Burke, Corinne Carey, Dan Fougier, and Melanie Sampson. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you.
I would now like to call for a motion to destroy the ballots.
I so move. Don Foster.
Could we have a seconder? Bill Timmons. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The ballots can be destroyed. Are there any questions regarding old business? Are there any questions regarding old business? Hearing none, we will now move to the special resolution portion of our meeting. The first item of new business is the approval of bylaw amendments. These amendments to our existing East Coast Credit Union bylaws were approved by the Board of Directors on March 28, 2023, and recommended for approval to our membership. To provide you with some background, in July of 2020, the Nova Scotia Credit Union Act was updated. The Credit Union Act governs the operations of credit unions in the province. The Act provides guidance and regulations on the incorporation of credit unions, capacity and powers of a credit union, capitalization, and operating standards, membership, directors and officers, returns and financial disclosure, and other areas. East Coast Credit Union operates under a set of bylaws that are a reflection of the Credit Union Act. As the Act was updated in 2020, we must also update our bylaws to reflect those changes. The changes are identified in the amended bylaws, but I will ask Ken Shea to outline a few of them for you now.
Okay, so the proposed bylaw changes, but before we get into that, we have had a question online, so I thought I'd try to deal with that as part of new business before we get into the bylaws themselves. And the question is, will we be keeping Sheet Harbor open? And I think I can answer that one pretty confidently, that our intention is to stay there and continue to serve that community. We've been working very hard since the exit of the Scotiabank to assist members in that area, and hope to be doing it for many, many more years. I know we've been down to the community and tried to do some reach out and continue to work with the team in that area to make sure members are served. So I hope that answers the question, but if there's clarification required, certainly you can send that in online. We'll try to answer as well. So bylaws, really interesting stuff. They're like a lot of pages, and we didn't make a lot of changes, but they're ones that we felt were really important because there were some changes made in the Act in 2022. One of them was to recognize the age of majority in Nova Scotia is 18 instead of 19, so it allows us to allow younger members of our population and our membership to vote their common shares and to have voting rights and serve as directors. It's already been indoctrinated in the Credit Union Act, so we really don't have a choice, but we did want to make sure that our bylaws are consistent with the rules of the day. The next one is the number of associate members, and this moved up a little bit, and what we say is that the number of associate members will not exceed 1/4 of the number of members of the credit union, and it's a change from 10%. It just gives us a little more flexibility when doing outside business where we may not have a fully engaged member. So we might be doing a car loan for somebody through a dealer finance program or something else. We want to get them in as a member and then have the ability to grow that relationship and build them as a full member. So it just gives us a little more flexibility to do that. The other thing we find in Nova Scotia is we have a lot of people that come from other places, whether it be other countries, other provinces, maybe here for the summer. They can come and they can have an associate membership. They don't have to make that big $5 commitment. They can just be an associate, and it allows us a little more flexibility for that as well. The next one is the number of members required to request a special meeting, and we've moved that from 150 to 250. And that's really just a reflection of the size of our organization. In order to have a special meeting, we need to make sure we've got enough people that have a concern about something that we have the ability to call one. And as you know, these kind of meetings, although they don't look that complicated, they're expensive to run. And so we want to make sure we're doing them for the right reason. There's also been some clarity added regarding how a member votes for corporate bodies or associations, as well as on their own behalf, so to make sure that we're clear on the method of voting. We've worked very hard over the last few years to clear up our member data, to make sure if somebody wants to have 2 votes and they're a joint membership, for instance, they both have a share. If they're an organization, that they have access to the right documents so that they can properly participate in the voting process. So we just want to make sure that we've got it indoctrinated or written in our bylaws so that the language is clear for people and they understand it. So we did add some language to incorporate that, and incorporated the consideration and impact of governance decisions on all stakeholders. This was another add-on. We're not currently, but we are seeking the ability to be called a B Corp. And part of that means that you have to have the ability to look after more than the shareholder or as a stakeholder. So you have to be more open to community and some of the other stakeholders. So we thought, since we're making these other changes in the bylaws, we'd be required to do this anyway once we get approved as a B Corp, but we might as well do it now, and then it's on our books and we don't have to come back to you to do it later. We also added some clarity around the director resignations, removals, and suspensions to make sure that it was clear and consistent and more with the Act. And then there was a number of other spelling, grammatical kind of things that we just made sure we cleaned up as we were going through them. There was a copy available for anyone that wanted to go through them in detail. Like I say, the changes were fairly minor, but certainly open to any questions that anybody has. Not seeing too many jump, so I'll assume that's a good sign, Dan. I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, so prior to requesting a motion, one more opportunity for any questions or comments. As there do not appear to be any more questions, we will proceed. I now ask for a motion to approve the East Coast Credit Union amended bylaws as presented. Downey? Jerome Downey?
Downey, yep.
Do we have a seconder?
Robin
Barrett?
Barrett. Okay, thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. The East Coast Credit Union amended bylaws are approved. Moving on to new business. We were very excited to announce on March 28th that we are partnering with LaHave River Credit Union to explore a merger to create an even stronger credit union with improved sustainability and greater potential for growth and innovation. One of the most important roles of the board is to provide oversight to the credit union and ensure we take steps to promote the long-term interests of our membership. The boards of both credit unions feel that our shared mission of positively impacting the lives of their members and the communities will serve as a strong base for this partnership. LaHave River Credit Union is a strong and growing credit union who serve their approximately 2,200 members from their branch location in Bridgewater. In January 2023, East Coast Credit Union signed a management services agreement with LaHave to provide management and support services to their staff. A committee of representatives from both credit unions are meeting monthly to explore the merger opportunity. Our next step is to complete a due diligence process and create a business case. Following that process, if the board of directors from both credit unions choose to recommend a merger, we will seek membership approval in the fall of 2023. We are excited to share more with you about this opportunity and invite you to visit our merger website, growingbettertogether.ca, to learn more, as on the screen. I now open the floor for questions on this proposed merger. Are there any questions? Online? Is there something
Online, but it's not about that.
Okay, we'll hold it for now. So, in hearing there are no questions on the merger, and before moving to closing statements, perhaps we'll deal with the online question.
I don't know if there's any other questions in the room as well. They can certainly come forward now. One of the questions we did have online was to explain a little bit more about B Corp. It sounds interesting. So basically what B Corp is all about is it's an independent group that will audit what we do from a social responsibility perspective and provide us with a certification. They look at a whole bunch of different factors in order to do that. The way we source goods, the way we pay, are we a living wage employer, the way that we govern ourselves, how we invest in our communities, how we partner, and all those things are taken into account to provide you with a score. That score is then used to kind of measure your effectiveness as a B corporation. And if you hit a certain mark, then you're certified, and each year they'll do an audit on all those things again just to make sure that we're staying true to our principles and the commitments that we've made. And so I think it's a very good thing to look at because it's often hard for us to tell our story and make sure that people understand that we do a lot of these things. So this is like an external group that's verifying that we do what we say we're going to do. I hope I got that right, Sally. You might want to correct a few things, but I think I got the gist of it for everyone. So it is quite an interesting process. It's a very detailed process. We've been at it for a little while now. COVID really hasn't helped, but we're getting close to the end of getting, we hope, our certification. So I just thought when we're changing the bylaws, it made sense to add that in. So if there's any follow-up online, you can send that in, and if I don't hear anything else shortly, then we'll probably be close to closing new business. Thank you.
Okay, I believe we have a gentleman with a question.
Yeah, open for question. First, I want to say.
Your name, sir?
Oh, Robin Barrett. First, I'd like to say a couple thank yous. I really appreciate the phone-in system where you can hit 0 and talk to a human being. It's been very great whenever there's been something going on, to be able to talk to people. It's been quite good. I have to say I was a little concerned when I couldn't easily just call into our local branch. But so far, the folks I've talked to have been very knowledgeable and have been able to quickly answer my questions. So it is working. Still a little nervous about general call center, but it is working, and thank you for that, and especially to be able to talk to people and not get stuck into too long a wait. The second thing is I do appreciate as well, although it does take a little more work, the two-step authentication. Knowing that we have that extra security is appreciated. One thing that, and you may have it, but if you have it, I'm not aware of it, which means maybe just getting the message out there. But there's a lot of things that I've learned now over my 60 years that I really would have benefited when I was 20 or 30. Would really like to see a bit better education component and things we can do for our members to help them in their financial education. I know when I was younger and I went to do savings, I found that there was an awful lot of people directing me towards this fund or that fund. And as time went on, I found more and more they had as much interest in taking a bigger slice of my retirement pie than actually helping me out. I think there's a real role that the credit union could play in that area. I found it interesting, there was an announcement on the site about, becoming involved with Q-Trade. I think that's really good from what I've read online, but I would really like to be able to talk to someone with the credit union rather than with the company to educate on that. And I always a little bit nervous getting financial education from YouTube, which seems to be lots of it out there. So I do think there's something that the credit union could really help out there as a suggestion.
Thanks, Robin. I appreciate the compliments, and we do work hard to make sure the call center is staffed well and that it is local people that you're talking to. So we'll continue to be committed to do that. The other part, I guess, on the Q-Trade, I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but we do have quite a few graduates of a program called Each One Teach One, which is a financial literacy program that helps with some of the things that you're talking about. We also are very committed to a number of educational things that we do. We're in the process of actually sponsoring a independent financial literacy expert that will be having a show on CTV or Global every day. And so we're going to actually be the headline sponsor of that. And she'll be giving wise and non-product specific advice, so helping to kind of reach a different audience. And I know YouTube is not the greatest place to learn, but maybe we should have more on our own internal YouTube channel where it's vetted information that can provide. So we'll certainly take that under advisement as well and see if we can develop some content. I know that our staff have a plethora of products that they have to try to keep up with, and we do often have like 1 or 2 experts in each branch. So it's seeking out those people and then making sure that they're aware that you have a need. And some of them might have been able to help a little bit to get you along the way in person. The other thing we do have is we're involved with a company called CUFM, which we're a part owner of as through the credit union. And basically what they do is they do everything from starting in the financial planning business right up to high net worth and insurance, estate planning, those kind of things. So we do have some of those services available, but obviously we could do a better job of promoting them. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions before we move to closing statements?
So it was Anuj. I think I'm going to try to answer your question the best I can. The membership growth is kind of across a number of the branches. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but there has been good growth in a number of our communities. So I'll just say that I think it's broad across the communities. The other thing, the way that we're reaching out to newcomers and immigrants, we do have a number of programs, both in co-op programs for employees. We've had a few people participate in those. And so that creates an environment where we can get to know another culture and people that are looking for work in our country. I know that we do have a number of our team are working with various settlement groups and doing some of the Each One Teach One courses with those individuals that are landing here to try to help them understand the Canadian system and how it works and how the credit union can fit into their financial future. I hope that answers the question. I just kind of quickly read it, so I hope I got the gist.
Are there any other questions? We don't want to close off unless everyone has a chance. Yes, sir.
Just one quick comment. I don't have a question.
Your name, sir?
It's John Cross. Robin reminded me of how well you must be doing, because he and his dad always came to the annual meetings when I was CEO, and there was always something that they remembered to point out to us, and we tried to take that advice. I also came this evening as a representative of Holy Trinity Church, and again, it's a compliment to the board and the management of the credit union to say that I was very pleasantly surprised at an annual meeting for the church to have the members say, we have to be sure and send someone to the credit union annual meeting to tell them how happy we are with the service we're getting and the rates we pay. So, bless you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we can go with that. I believe there's one more online question.
I have one more online. Sue Adams asked, she said she thinks we're making great strides in our environmental stewardship, and she's wondering, with all the developments in the banking industry lately, I think the Royal Bank was named the largest lender to fossil fuel in the world. With that kind of backdrop in banking, what's our exposure and what are we doing about it? I guess the one thing I can say is that we're not as exposed because we don't have the opportunities maybe that in some of the markets like the Western oil fields, et cetera. So I think there's a lot less of that. We are participating in programs through CCUA to get a better handle on the types of loans we have, the industries that they're to, and how that could impact our environmental footprint. It's early days still, I must say, but we are definitely starting that work in partnership with other credit unions to try to help make sure we understand our impact, and we have ways to deal with that as we kind of move forward. We've tried in many of our renovations and things to and bring in those technologies, whether it be solar panels, proper lighting, things like that to kind of reduce our footprint. We've done energy audits in all of our branches. So we are trying to take it serious ourselves, but we're still working on how we help others to do that. So I hope that answers the question, Sue. Thanks.
Sue, thank you for that question from Annie Ganesh. Are there any other questions? Okay, I would like to finish by thanking our voting and elections team, our marketing and communications team, our IT department, and the many other staff volunteers for their role in putting this evening together for us. I would also like to thank the staff of the Ashburn Golf Club for hosting us this evening, and a special thank you to the team at 45 North for providing our live stream services this evening. I would like to thank everyone for attending this evening. We had a very successful year in 2022, and it was my pleasure to recount those successes with you. Having concluded our business agenda for the evening, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you. Good night. Drive safe and keep well.